We have no power. It's already getting super cold in our house.
Tonight, hundreds of thousands of people in the dark and in the cold, with bitter temperatures and brutal wind chills. The dangerous weather already turning deadly.
We have one suspected case of hypothermia early this morning. Someone passed away.
Meanwhile, trees are falling.
There's a branch that's going through the front windshield into the back seat.
And it looks like we're not going to be getting a break from the cold for days. Team coverage of this winter wallop.
Yeah, that is a big boy, though.
Yeah.
Continues right now.
This is KGW News at 5.
Good evening, everyone. David Molko here along with John Adams as we continue to cover this Arctic blast moving through our area. This is a live look at our Rose City sky camera. I-5 there, slow going, but things are moving. It is 16 degrees in Portland. That wind chill in the single digits. Bone chilling, creating some of the coldest temperatures we have seen in years, and depending how you measure, in decades. Well, thanks for joining us over the next hour. And tragically, we begin here with some sobering news that this storm has already turned deadly. One person from a suspected case of hypothermia, another when a tree fell on an RV and started a fire.
And we've got team coverage for you tonight. Our crews are spread out at warming shelters, checking out the damage and on the roads so you and your loved ones can stay safe. We're also going to be hearing live from TriMet and PGE on these power outages. But first, let's go to our chief meteorologist, Matt Zaffino. And Matt, what can we expect for the rest of the night here?
Hey, John, you know, the good news is things are going to begin to ease as we go through the nighttime hours, and especially after about midnight, the winds are really going to begin to back off. So I think people will feel more comfortable with that once these really ferocious winds begin to die down. But it will remain cold for a while. That'll be the least of our problems, of course, compared to the wind and the ice that we have outside. It is 15 degrees in Portland right now. The wind chill presently has dropped down to -5. That fluctuates by the hour, if not sooner or more frequently, depending on what the wind is doing. East at 28 right now out at the Portland airport. So it is very, very dangerously cold. Then, of course, there are the winds and the damage that has been created. The wind chills right now, 4 in Hillsborough, 3 in Aurora. It's -7 in Troutdale. And we look around the state, it's not quite as bad in some areas where the wind isn't so much. We look at Sun River with the wind chill of 25 below. Okay, so what about the precipitation? We had a lot of sleet, kept the snow totals down, but the sleet, of course, is slippery. The good news is when we look at Doppler radar, we're already seeing it lighten up and changing to snow, too. Within about the last hour, we're seeing less sleet, more snow, but it's becoming a lot lighter as the main band has shifted north. Now, we're going to get part of this pivoting back down south, so we're not quite done with it, but I think we will be done with the precipitation by about 10 p.m. This storm coming right in south of Newport, pretty close to where we thought it would be. So let's go through this by the hour. Down to 13 degrees tonight at 10 o'clock or at 11 o'clock, and that's about when the snow should be ending, I think, or about 10, 11 o'clock. The winds will begin to back off after midnight. Now, in and near the gorge, they're not going to completely end, but they will back off. You can see in this map, the gusts 40, 50 miles an hour. We've had higher gusts, but by tomorrow morning, they're down below 30 miles an hour, which will feel a lot better. So snow sleet ending by 10 p.m. It's already beginning to wind down a bit, though. The winds will gradually ease after about midnight, still below freezing and breezy tomorrow, but the sun will come out. So better days and better hours ahead, guys.
Music to our ears. Who knew 30-mile-an-hour gusts would feel a lot better? Thank you, Matt. We'll check in with you in a few minutes. It's just breaking news now. It's coming in out of southeast Portland's Lentz neighborhood, where fire crews say a person died this afternoon when a tree fell onto an RV and sparked a fire.
Let's bring in Art Edwards along Southeast 105th Avenue. And Art, what have you learned out there tonight?
Now, we're at Southeast 105th and Harold Street. Right behind me is the scene. You could see sort of what remains of what happened out here. It was late this afternoon when a tree came down on a power line. That sparked a fire, and it caught an RV that there were a couple of people inside that caught that RV on fire. We have some video from the scene from earlier on today when the firefighters were out here. They got here quickly. The lines are down in the street. All the power is out in the neighborhood, and you can see probably the remains of that RV. What we're told is that there was one person inside the RV who died. There was a second person who was injured who was in that RV as well. We also talked to somebody who lives in the neighborhood and heard everything as it sort of began.
All of a sudden the power goes out and I hear a bang, and I look outside and the tree hit the van and it went over. After that, I bet good 1-2 minutes, the fire started coming out, and I heard one of the people that lived there, one of the homeless that lived there, he was screaming.
Now, we know that the RV itself caught fire. That has burned and is beyond repair. There are a couple of cars that we can see back there as well that seem to have some significant damage. Just in the last few minutes, some crews from PGE have come out here. They're taking a look around to see exactly what the damage is and see what they're going to need to do to be able to repair the power lines out here and get this situation all straightened out and all cleaned up. Reporting live from Southeast Portland, Art Edwards, KGW News.
Thanks so much. Our team coverage now continuing with Sydney Dorner live at a warming center in Portland's central east side there.
And Sydney, we mentioned the dangerous weather has already turned deadly, with one person in Multnomah County dying. Officials say from what they believe to be hypothermia. What's the plan from here on out?
Yes, John, tonight at 8 p.m., 4 more emergency shelters will open for the homeless. Now, when the weather first got bad, Multnomah County opened up 6 sites for people to stay warm. Now, when I spoke to county officials, they made it clear this weather is deadly and they aren't turning away anyone.
People in the area without access to a warm environment are at risk of hypothermia and frostbite, which can be very dangerous and even deadly. We have one suspected case of hypothermia early this morning. Someone passed away.
The winter storm has turned deadly. While officials didn't release any other details about the person who died, Multnomah County is opening up 4 more emergency shelters. This map shows all the locations. First Christian Church, Freedom Foursquare Church, the Multnomah County East Building, and the State of Oregon Building are the 4 new locations. So far, at least 350 people have entered their shelter seeking warmth. Nikki Bello moved here from Florida 2 weeks ago with only her car.
This is my first time ever seeing snow, and it's fantastic, but I'm also homeless at the same time, so it's very difficult.
Nikki says she came to Portland to find acceptance as a transgender woman. She says emergency shelters provide more than just warmth.
It's just really nice here and very homey, and I feel safe and comfortable for the first time in like 8 years.
By tonight, 740 beds will be available at emergency shelters across Multnomah County. TriMet is providing free transportation so people can get there safely. You can also call 211 to connect with a shelter and get a ride. I spoke to one man on the streets with plans of heading to a shelter tonight.
A lot of our money comes from collecting cans and things like that, you know what I mean? And side jobs, and those go away during this kind of time, you know what I mean? So it's like right now that we're hearing about all these shelters and stuff, you know, but it's complicated usually to get to them.
Now, those 10 emergency shelters will stay open until the 14th. If you see anyone you think may be in danger, the county wants you to use their non-emergency line, which is 503-823-3333. And of course, if you see someone in immediate danger, call 911. Sydney Dorner, KGW News. Back to you.
All right, Sydney, thank you. Well, right now there are thousands of power outages across the metro area because of that snow and ice. We're going to take a look at that outage map right now. Portland General Electric has about 146,000 customers in the dark and cold right now, spread across all over the metro. You can see it there. And switching over to Pacific Power, about 41,000 customers there don't have power.
Yeah, you add Clark County into that, and we're talking 200,000 or so over the last few hours, which is just unbelievable, that number. Okay, downed trees are a big reason why the power's out. Limbs and trunks crashing down on power lines, vehicles, homes, and a lot more. Team coverage continues with Kyle Aboshi. He's live in Southwest Portland. Kyle, you've been checking out some of the damage. We should point out, though, that this is still unfolding minute by minute. What are you seeing?
Oh, certainly. We've seen damaging winds throughout the Portland metro area today. Here in the park blocks, a lot of branches and twigs on the ground, as we've seen elsewhere. Cleanup is going to take a long time.
Mother Nature delivered a 1-2 punch with snow and fierce winds. Powerful gusts helped bring down branches and huge trees, including this one in Northeast Portland's Laurelhurst neighborhood. It crashed onto 3 cars and knocked down power lines.
I mean, got 3 little kids, all under the age of 7, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for the next few days.
Despite all the damage, nobody got hurt. Neighbor Josh Rourke is grateful.
I'm getting phone calls and messages, probably like the 8th person that's volunteered to let us stay at their house. So
throughout the Portland metro area, crews were busy cleaning up the mess in frigid temperatures. This tree blocked Belmont Street in southeast Portland.
A huge, essentially shook the house.
Robin Ahrens and Bridget Bissell were sleeping when the tree came crashing down overnight.
Several of the top branches came all the way through the roof. There's a giant tree branch in my room.
Emergency crews responded to dozens of calls. Luckily, Portland officers weren't inside this patrol car when a tree fell in southeast Portland. In the Cedar Hills neighborhood, a tree fell onto an apartment complex, leading to the collapse of 2 units. No one was hurt. And in East Multnomah County, Troutdale Road was closed due to downed trees and power lines.
We have no power. It's already getting super cold in our house.
David Riley in southeast Portland lost power after this small tree toppled over, knocking down a power line.
We just heard this big, huge boom and came up here, and there it is.
Crews are working to restore electricity, but with this many outages and in these conditions, it may take some time to get the lights back on.
PGE says it has about 400 PGE workers and contractors out assessing the damage right now and working to restore that service.
Yeah, 150,000 customers without power. That is just PGE. Kyle Aboshi in Southwest Portland. Thank you for that incredible video there. We told you also things would be bad in the gorge. Take a look at this. That's the historic Sternwheel Columbia Gorge. It broke loose today in those incredible east winds from the Cascade Locks Marina. The port of Cascade Locks posting pictures on Facebook of the ship drifting and then hitting a footbridge that connects the marina parking lot to Thunder Island. We understand it caused significant damage. It does not appear, thankfully, that anybody was on board or anybody was on that bridge at the time and injured. The boat's now safely moored back at the marina. Wow.
And a close call for a Portland police officer. A huge tree crashed down on top of a patrol car. The officers were on call at Southeast 76th and Morrison. Portland police say luckily no one was inside that car when all of this happened.
I mean, it's happening in so many places, it's hard to keep up with
really
all those down trees. Okay, thankfully, the snow, ice, the extreme cold, it's a weekend. Not many people on the roads. They're heeding those warnings as much as possible.
Yeah, meteorologist Joe Ranieri is in Live Drive 8 tonight. Joe, one of those closures along Highway 26 for a while, back open now, we've heard?
Exactly right. Now, we checked this out about 20 minutes ago, and the closure was along 26 in Barnes. But as we were driving out for our live shot just a few minutes ago or so, we noticed about 2 lanes along Highway 26 westbound were shut down, basically between the tunnel and the zoo exit. We're driving right by it right now. I'll show you the pictures. ODOT has been working to clear this tree that came basically just covering 2 lanes of Highway 26. Again, they're doing a great job clearing it. We got darkness right now, but again, if you'll be driving along this section of Highway 26, this is what you'll be seeing, and this is kind of a reminiscent of a lot of locations throughout parts of the metro area, especially along this section of Highway 26. But again, if you're going to be heading out, try to avoid driving. Luckily, this is a weekend. Of course, it's a holiday weekend, like we've been telling you, so traffic is very light. It's obviously very light because of the snow and ice that we have been seeing, but snow-covered roads and very slick conditions out here. Now, we started off this morning with snow showers, and it turned into more of a sleet and freezing rain situation for a couple of hours. Then it kind of went back to snow showers up to about, I would say about an hour ago, maybe 45 minutes ago. Now we're looking at just some dry conditions along Highway 26. But again, 26 in Barnes was currently closed for a short time earlier this afternoon because of downed trees. And that's what we have been seeing a lot of this afternoon, not just throughout parts of the major highways, but also throughout parts of some of the neighborhoods, like Kyle Aboshi was just telling you. Trees snapping because of the heavy weight of snow and ice and the high winds too. It's been especially bad the last couple of hours. Now, while we haven't seen many issues of cars abandoned on roads, we are hearing some warnings from ODOT after some issues they've seen the last several hours. They are warning drivers to never pass snow plows on the right. That's illegal and dangerous. Also, do not ever drive over down power lines.
They saw cars driving over the down power lines and even getting them caught in their wheels and pulling them a little bit down the road. Luckily, there was no power to those lines, but you can never be sure.
Now again, back here live along Highway 26, ODOT also reports they've seen some large trucks that have fallen over due to the high speeds or icy conditions, especially along parts of I-84 there. So they warn people again, if you have to head out on the roads, just take it slow, use chains if needed, and of course, be very careful. But again, here's as you can see, we've been driving along Highway 26. The nice thing about the wind, if there is anything nice about it, David and John, it's making the roads clear. We haven't really seen any slick spots, but even though it might look clear, still take your time if you have to come out here. Again, the city officials and ODOT is, again, urging people to stay home if you can. Again, we got a football game on if you want to check that on NBC. But again, now this is an official reporting station here in Drive 8. Temperature outside of 14 degrees. You factor in that wind chill, it is dangerously cold. And again, it's going to be a while before we warm up. Again, more on that later on in the show. Back to you guys.